I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is the South River Falls picnic area. Here's the trailhead. Yep, there's my little red car. And this is a great big picnic area. The picnic stuff goes on up there. Over here you got a couple of bathrooms right there. And I'm gonna go down here to the trailhead until I get to the Appalachian Trail and make a right turn and hike south and do a big loop, do a big circle around Saddleback Mountain. We're going to stop by the shelter and also do a little bushwhacking, looking for some old homesteads. The elevation here is 2950. Tenth of a mile into my hike, and this is the intersection with the Appalachian Trail. The parking lot's up that way, that's where I came from. So when you get down to this signpost here, turn right, and we're going to hike south along the Appalachian Trail for a ways, and I'm going to look for a turnoff to the shelter. Hiking south along the AT. Oh man, is it cold up here today or what? Wow, the wind, it's not blowing right this second, but it's about 32 degrees or so with wind. But now that the leaves are off the trees, you can see for long distances now. See that? So, but we're going this way, heading south. Half a mile into my hike, the elevation is 2930, been fairly flat. This is the Appalachian Trail, it's where I came from. And when you get to here, you're going to run into, this is the AT, but it's also the service road that provides access to the shelter. Up that way is Skyline Drive, and the service road comes around here and heads on down to the shelter this way. So we're keep heading south this way. 6/10 of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 2950, and this is where there's a fork in the road. The Appalachian Trail continues on to the right. Now I'll come back that way, but I'm going to take this left fork and head over to the shelter. And then we'll go past the shelter, go halfway around this mountain on this Saddleback Trail, and we'll run into the AT down here a ways and then loop back here. So this is the beginning of a big loop. Nine-tenths of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 2920, and the shelter's down this way just a little bit further. I can see it through the trees. But here's the spring, so let's take a right and go up here and check the spring out while we're here. Okay, well, you have to do a little climbing to get up here, but Right here's the spring. Maybe you can see it coming out of the side of the mountain there. So, the headwaters of the South River. Somebody set some blocks in there to create like a little swimming pool. So you've got a good 5 or 6 inches worth of water depth there for scooping out water. And then the shelter's down there a little ways, so let's go down there now. Okay, well, I'm down the hill a little ways from the actual spring where the sign pointed off the road. This looks like it used to be the original spring. This looks kind of dug out, like it was dug out into the side of the mountain here. Those rocks were put up there, but it doesn't look like it's flowing all that well. See, there's hardly anything there. But see, there's the signpost. There is some water down there, but that doesn't look like it's flowing much. So I'm guessing this spring was the original one, but it dried out. So then they went a little higher up on the mountain up that way and created that one that they're using now. The road over to the shelter is back up here, so I'm going to go back up here, and I guess the next stop will be the shelter. It's that shiny thing down there through the trees. One mile into my hike, the elevation here is 2930, and this is the South River shelter. It's not used anymore as a shelter for thru hikers. PATC converted this one into a maintenance shelter. So I'll take some still pictures, but they block off the front of it, and they put tools they need to maintain the trails around here. They'll keep them inside there. There's probably some bunks in there. Looks like there's a wood burning stove. See the stack going up the top. I see an outhouse down this way. So I'll get some still pictures, and then I'm going to continue heading on that direction and do a big loop on this Saddleback Mountain trail. When I get down here another mile or so, I'm going to do a little bushwhacking, see if I can find any old homestead locations. All right, well, here's the outhouse for the shelter. It's an old pit style one. Looks like they've fixed it up some though. Got some nice gravel around it. Down there's a shelter, and here's the outhouse. And then I'm going to continue on this Saddleback Mountain trail. It's blazed blue, and but really it looks like it's an old mountain road. I'm sure it was here before the park was created, so we'll just follow this, and it makes sense that this would take us to the homestead locations if we can find them. Okay, well, I'm bushwhacking now. I stepped off the trail, which is way up there, came down here. I'm close to the area where this is point SB3 on my map, and I found this. This is a trace of a road or a driveway or something, and I'm standing on it, and I'm within about 150 feet of where the old map said there was a homestead. So I'm going to walk up and down this little trace of a road and look and see if I see anything like rock piles or anything interesting. This way, it's way covered up with overgrowth and stuff. But let me just look around here a little bit and see what I can find. Actually, I see some rocks piled up down there. Let me go down there and look. The old map, the gully's down there, and the map shows it's on this side of the gully. So let me just wander around a little bit, see if I can find anything. Okay, well, this is probably it right here, this area. I'm standing within 130 feet of the old map's location, and here's a big old pile of rocks right here. Okay, right there, see that? And then down here's the gully. The water's down there, and actually, if you follow, I'll show you the road up there in a minute that I was talking about. If you head off to the left, you'll eventually run into a spring over there. So the spring's up there. Here's rock pile number 1, and then, sorry for the jiggly camera, but I'm just going to keep this going here. Right here, up here, there's rock pile number 2, right there. And then if I can get a decent shot of this, maybe you can see the side of the, just below the road I told you that I found. See that? Going down that way, that takes you down to the spring. See that? See how straight that is? And it's armored up on the side there with some rocks, and then it heads on up that way. So that's probably the driveway or the access road, and then there's one pile of rocks and the other one's down there. So I think this is it. I'll just readjust my coordinates slightly because this is only off by 130 feet. Okay, the rock piles are down there, and right here is the trace of the old road. Maybe you can make it out. And I followed it over here, and it puts me right here at this spring. So, and looking at it, I'll try and get a few stills, but right there, I mean, that was dug, somebody dug this out. This was dug out. And I mean, over there, you can see where they armored up the side of the road. So yeah, this is no natural spring here. Or there could have been one. They just expanded it. They dug it out. So, and the road looks like it goes across over there and continues on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go over there. I don't think I can make it across here. I'll go around, but go over there and get some pictures of it. It looks a little bit of a stone wall there that they built. So definitely something down here. Some people live down here. Okay, well, I was over there, then I went around. I went around. There's the spring, and let me do a slow pan here. You can see that rock work there, stonework, where they armored up. Let me come over here a little ways. And then it takes off in that direction. And then once I got over here, I realized that lo and behold, this is a great big pile of rocks right here next to the spring. And whoa, there's some metal pieces. So I have to get some still shots of all that stuff too. Bits of metal laying around. So get a few pics of that. This pile of rocks is almost rectangular right here. Almost like it was a little building. .1 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 3,020, and Saddleback Mountain trails up that way. I bushwhacked down here, and I'm within, let me look at my GPS, I'm within about 25 feet of a point SB6, which I had marked was supposed to be another potential homestead. Here's a great big old pile of rocks right here that I found. It starts over there, and it's a pretty good pile over to there. So it's in the right spot, and it's within about 20-30 feet of the old map location. So that's probably where it was. They tear these places down and get rid of them, and then they tend to just leave the rocks. So there you go. I think that was SB6. .4 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 3,030, and that's where I came from. So I've completed the loop around Saddleback Mountain. That's Saddleback Mountain Trail. That's where I was looking for the homesteads, and here's where it runs into the Appalachian Trail, and I'm gonna make a right-hand turn and hike north that way back to my car. But before I do that, I'm going to continue south on the AT just about another 1/10 of a mile. The maps were showing another homestead site, so let me just go down here and see about that, and then I'll turn around and start hiking back towards my car. It's about 2 miles from here back to my car. .6 miles into my hike. Let's see, my elevation here is 2960. I'm standing on the AT. This is the AT. And off to the left, I'm hoping you can see that mound there with the rocks. There's and there's rocks there, and look, there's no rocks here. And then it starts up rocks again right here by this tree. That turnoff right there is an old road. I don't even know if it had a name, but I'll point it out when I do the map talk. But it starts up here high on the mountain, and it winds its way all the way down to the old Spotswood Trail. I've hiked this before. I'll have to look up the name of it. Probably called it Spotswood something or other. But anyway, it starts here, and parts of it are a little hard to follow, but I managed to follow it all the way down to the old Spotswood Trail. I'm not going any further south. I'm going to turn around, I'm going to go just a couple of 100 feet further, looking for, this is waypoint SB10. And I'm going to go down here looking for homestead site SB9 and see if I can find anything. And then I'm going to turn around. .2 miles into my hike, I'm up near the summit of Saddleback Mountain. I'm on the AT, up near the summit. The elevation here is 3230. Yeah, let's do a quick 360. I got to get off this mountain now. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon, and the temperature's starting to drop again. That's where I came from. The sun's really low in the sky. The wind's picking up. Let's see, my thermometer thing, he says it's a 31 degrees now. It went up to 41, but now it's down to 31 with wind. So that's the way I'm headed back to my car. It's about a mile back to my car. Should be all downhill from here. Here's a little bit of a view looking off the side of the mountain to the west. This is the windy side of the mountain. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is two quadrangle maps taped together. The upper part is Elkton East, 1997, and the bottom part is Swift Run Gap, 1997. I parked at the South River picnic area, which is right here. And then the trailhead is right here. You head out on the trailhead. When you get to here, you'll intersect with the Appalachian Trail. Turn right and start hiking south along the AT. When you get to here, you'll notice the service road coming in from the right. You continue along. Now this is a combined AT and service road. You get to here, this is the fork in the road that you'll see in my video. Keep left, heading down here towards the shelter. When you get to this sharp bend in the road, you'll see a sign attached to a tree that says spring up this way. And that's the location of the current spring that they're currently using. But if you look on this map, you'll notice right there on this opposite side, it says spring right there. That's the second spring that I showed you with the concrete signpost. So that would have been the original spring, but it looked to me like it probably over the years has dried up to where they came up here and created another spring box up here. Continue on. Here's the shelter. Now this shelter used to be for overnight through hikers along the AT. So they'd come along the AT here, and then they'd come down here to the shelter and spend the night. But this one, PATC converted this to a maintenance shelter, so they use it to store their tools. They've got a wood-burning stove in there. It's all locked up and stuff for them. So that gives them some a staging area to maintain all these trails in this area. The outhouse is just a little further here to the east, and then you continue on. This is the Saddleback Mountain Trail here. Follow this around. Now when I got here to where it says 3, Saddleback Waypoint 3 here, this was indicated on an old map, Elkton 1937 map, as being a home site. So I bushwhacked down to here. I did find the rock piles for that, and then there was a little road or a driveway going kind of like this, north to south. I followed that down here and found a spring and some metal pieces laying around. I got pictures of them. Then back up onto Saddleback Mountain Trail. Coming on around here. Now when I got around to here where it says SB1 and SB2 and 4 and 5, I couldn't find this at all. So I don't know. It's probably there, but I just didn't see it. Continued on around the loop here until I got to this point right here. I jumped off and bushwhacked down here. I did find this Saddleback number 6 right here. Then back up onto Saddleback Mountain Trail. Around to where it intersects here with the Appalachian Trail. And then back to my car would be hiking north, but I did go south to here. I pointed out this road right here. Okay. And I looked up the name of it. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I'll put a note in the video of what this was. This was Spotswood something or another. Looked for this but didn't find it. Then I backtracked and basically hiked all the way back like this to my car. So for what it's worth, this loop around here, this is a real nice pleasant hike. This section over here is a little bit hilly. You have to climb. This is more flat hiking like this, but when you try to complete your loop here, you're going to have to do some climbing to get up here. This is near the summit of the mountain. Turned out to be 5.5 miles and 1,012 feet of ascent. Now, before I sign off, let me show you the old map. This is Elkton 1937, and I highlighted in green. This is the loop that I hiked. And if you look at this, you'll notice there's a this was waypoint 3, and down here's waypoint 6. And these other roads heading off to the east are the ones that I told you I couldn't find them. And then I came down here to this road right here, which is the one that goes all the way down to the old Spotswood Trail that I hiked earlier this year, and then back. So this is where I get the locations to go look for, is off these old maps. In this case, it's Elkton 1937. These are the coordinates. Now, a couple of these I adjusted slightly once I got there. So that's where you get the coordinates to go look for this stuff. And then I usually take those coordinates and I put them onto a modern map to give me a better idea. And then I put them into my laptop system. It's called Garmin Basecamp, and then from there I can load them into my hiking GPS. My hiking GPS is a Garmin eTrex 30. Here's what it looks like. I don't think they even make that one anymore, but they do make Garmin eTrex something. So those are really handy. And that was the hike for today.